It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race to make merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round, take round, take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth, nigga, cool zone. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My seal lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, with a true sit, hey, with warriors dwell. Be wise with them weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my item gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die, so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that mean? Fall on his ass. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Lonely one west, say what? Lonely one west. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up, I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down.
Yeah. UPK shit, man, one West. Hey. I'm a UPK nigga, I'm stuck in my ways. That's on them, letting cowards fill up they ranks. Goddamn, lost tribes got them following waves. Loyalty a lifestyle, nigga, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm a saint, no New Orleans, it's going up. Next spot, we at the B&B. I'm turned up, I'll pull up in the SRT. Burning rubber, hey, UPK shit. Look, met her at the club, told her pull up to the lobby. She know I'm in the coat, we're all black, no Illuminati. This my other half shit, I can't move without it. These my motherfucking brothers, yeah, what I'm gonna do without them, yeah. If it's beef, I can't wait to sink my teeth in. Niggas going overboard, they off the deep end. Why you tripping off that hoe? That's some weak shit. Told him put me in the game cause I love defense. Yeah, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Yeah, bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, and she say she find me interesting. Yeah, want me to call, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, and she say she find me interesting, yeah, want me to call. I ain't gotta settle, I got options, ma. No, I stand on business, my name not Tazar. I'll pop you with this pocket rock. Feed a nigga shells like a taco truck. Hey, this bitch got sound effects, it go pew pew pew. I ain't trippin' on no drink, got bottles in a room. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, bitch, it's 12 a.m. Look at them, they ain't none of us and we ain't them. I told him, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, ayy, let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Ayy, bounce out, let my fringes swing, yeah. I'm a dog, ayy, she say she find me interesting, yeah, want me to call. Put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, ayy, let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Ayy, bounce out, let my fringes swing, yeah. I'm a dog, ayy, she say she find me interesting, want me to call, yeah, yeah. UPK shit, man, you already know what it is. It's the 55th annual Passover, man, turn up. We gon' do this shit the UPK way, not the other way. You hear me? Yeah, yeah.
Back roll.
My bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see, most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes, cause one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences, 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers, my hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses, it's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Going on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the swab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the swab in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that God flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can. The streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the swab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know
Give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my taxes. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angels, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage is safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I'm back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Shalom Israel, this is the Wednesday night history class. Also remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday 2 a.m. UK time. We have classes here, Monday through Friday, live in the physical school, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Have them online Tuesday and Friday. Like, comment, share. Any questions, you can type them in the chat and we will get to them. But we're going to pick up from where we left off last week. Hey, Shalom, I got Officer Haban Yugar with me today. We're going to pick up from where we left off last week. Bear with me. Let me see where we was. Hold on. No, we passed this. I think it was here. Hold on. Trickle Woodson. Bear with me. Is this where it was? Yes, Lucky, go ahead.
One cancer. Something known as collective learning. Why does this matter? If there is a limit to how much one can invent, a species more or less stay the same for thousands of years until biological evolution changes them. Even with tool use, they are still stuck in the slow process of natural selection. In order to raise complexity, however, if a species like Homo erectus could improve on existing technologies by tinkering with them and with no major genetic change or evolution, and also spread out from their traditional habits across the world, this is the sign of something new. It means this species was no longer dependent on biological evolution or the cruel Darwin world to increase its complexity. We have made the first tentative steps into the cultural realm where the complexity generating process of the collective learning blaze along at a faster speed than biological evolution, like express highways built atop older winding roads.
So
And
now they talk about this thing called collective learning, and they believe that one species evolved from another. Like, they don't believe it was the same species that, over time just learned new things. They make it like, yep, you evolved from this to this. So they believe that you evolved. One day you was a ancestor of a chimpanzee. You both have the same ancestor, and they believe that the chimpanzees went one way and we went the other way, and we evolved and they didn't. So to cover their back, they'll tell you that you have a common. They won't tell you that you come from a chimpanzee, but they will tell you that you have a common ancestor to a chimpanzee, which, based off the Bible, we know is a lie. Go ahead.
And collective learning had only just begun to evolve. A trickle would soon become a flood.
That's lucky. Go ahead.
From Homo erectus to Homo sapiens.
So now it went from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens. So they say that Homo just means human. So they say that Homo is a term for human, basically. So okay, go ahead.
Homo erectus showed the first signs of collective learning 1.5 million years ago.
These people wouldn't have called themselves these things. So all these terms that you see that these scientific terms that they use, the people wouldn't have called themselves those things back in the days. So one man wouldn't have said I'm a Homo erectus, or another man wouldn't have said I'm a Homo sapien. They wouldn't have called themselves those things. All of these things is modern terms that scientists that have named these things. Go ahead.
It was a very humble start. Homo erectus took tens of thousands of years to make moderate improvements to their stone axes.
Well, now they're saying that in the beginning, these people wasn't privy to certain things, and then over time they developed. First, they used to bang a rock, and then they're saying they began to make axes out of stone and start banging the axe and hammers and so forth. So now that's how they're saying they started to get into like the Stone Age and so forth. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, collective learning had appeared in evolutionary repertoire, provided natural selection considered collective learning useful to survive. The skill would only grow more powerful with new species.
See, and they say the skill would grow more powerful with each new species, whereas it's not a new species. Man just learned how to do certain things. It's kind of like now, once upon a time, there was, horse and carriage. Now there's cars. It don't mean we're a new species because we learned certain things. But that's what they put it down to. Oh, yeah, man evolved into a new species. It's not that. Man just evolves over time from one day it will be horse and carriage. Next couple of years, a man would learn how to create an engine. We use engines now. That's lucky. Go ahead.
Homo antecessors evolved 1.2 million years ago and moved into Europe in large numbers.
So now they're saying that they moved into Europe. So now this is what they say. They say there was a split in the species. So they would tell you that the Neanderthals moved into Europe, into colder areas. They would say that they moved into colder areas and more watery areas, and then they would tell you that everybody else stayed in Africa. Then they would say that the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens or whatever met each other and started to interbreeding, and then the Neanderthals ended up not existing no more. This is what they'll tell you. Slacky, go ahead.
Khan in large numbers, requiring innovation to deal with the frigid and foreign environments there. They were about the same size in terms of height and body weight as Homo sapiens, but they had slightly smaller brains and much more limited form of language.
Now they're saying they had smaller brains and limited form of language, but they wouldn't know this. You know why? Because who was even around back then to know how they would speak or what they would say? They wouldn't know. Like when you look at anthropologists and archaeology, you don't know what language that archaeologist spoke. All you're seeing is bones and skulls and whatnot. So a lot of the stuff that they say is down to interpretation. Is how they interpret certain things. So go ahead.
Khan. Homo heidelbergensis evolved about 700,000 years ago in
So now
Africa.
give these wild numbers, but even they will tell you these numbers are subject to change as more evidence comes out and as they get more stuff to test things. So you'll see that them numbers will drop dramatically eventually. Now they're saying 700,000 years. Soon you'll see that once they find more stuff, them years will drop. Once they can accurately test data and so forth, they'll see that them years is slashed by way more than half. That's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. In Africa and slowly spread over Europe and West Asia, they had even larger brains which could fall roughly on the low end of the human average. It is likely they had a fairly acute sense of being able to distinguish sounds in speech, like modern humans, and a pretty intricate form of communication.
All of that speculation, because like I said, nobody from back then that would have been there back when 700,000 years ago, what they're talking about, there was nobody that back then documenting things to let these like know anything like that. Now, like think about it, if back then they're saying that people's brain capacity was limited and they didn't know certain things. So if everyone's brain is limited, you sure ain't gonna have no records from 700,000 years ago. Everyone's brain is limited. If man didn't write and all of these things like what they say, you're not gonna have no documentation to let you that tells you what they could and couldn't do. So like I said, a lot of it is speculation. So go ahead.
Khan. The Neanderthals appeared approximately 400,000 years ago and had brain sizes that...
So now they're saying the Neanderthals appeared because they're saying that now the Homo sapiens stayed in Africa and the Neanderthals appeared. And then once there was certain land bridges, they would tell you that man and animals crossed those land bridges into other regions. So they'll say they crossed those land bridges and those land bridges took them to where the Neanderthals was, which they say they had migrated earlier from Africa into Europe. This is what they say. The Neanderthals migrated earlier from Africa into Europe. And then the ones that was still in Africa eventually crossed the land bridges and ended up mixing with the Neanderthals. So go ahead.
Khan had brain sizes that rivaled that of modern humans, though they appeared to have had limited capacity for abstract thought, contemplating and communicating things that aren't actually there. Homo antecessor.
They say this like they would know, because if this is 400,000 years ago, how do you know what limited capacity they have? Because when you're finding bones and skulls, the skulls don't let you know what capacity they have. Now they would say, oh, we know this from the brain size and from this and from that. That's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. Homo antecessor, Homo heidelbergensis, and the Neanderthals all show clear signs of collective learning. They presided over the first systemized and regular use of fire in
So,
heat.
they will tell you that Neanderthals are the first ones that started cooking meat, or the first ones that started to use fire. So now they're moving up to a more modern time. They'll say the Neanderthals is the first one that used fire and so forth. Yeah, go ahead.
Khan. The first blade tools, the earliest wooden spears,
They say
and
that they used the first tools, the earliest wooden spears, and the earliest use of composite tools. Go ahead.
Khan, use of composite tools where stone was fastened to wood. Homo heidelbergensis became the first hominin to colonize all of Eurasia. Neanderthals even adapted to climes that made
So now they
clothing.
say that Neanderthals was the first to make clothes because of the climate that they was living in. So back then they say that they moved around the Ice Age when it was a lot colder, when England had mammoths and so forth. So they say that Europe was a lot closer. They say back then there was a bridge called the Duggan Bridge, apparently, where you could walk from England to Europe. But then because of the rise in the water temperature, the sea rising, then a lot of those things is underwater, they say. So they say this is why before England went to the island, how it was surrounded by water, saying a lot of that you could walk through Europe. So they say, go ahead.
Khan. Neanderthals even adapted in climate that made clothing and other cultural innovations necessary for insulation and warmth. They manufactured complex tools with prepared stone cores, producing a variety of implements, sharp point scrapers, hand axes, wood handles.
And now they said these Neanderthals came up with all these tools. Go ahead.
Khan, with deliberate use of high-quality stone materials and countless variations of improvements over time.
Hold on one second, Habon.
Council.
Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Yes, Lucky, go ahead. That's the whole slide, isn't it? Yes, Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. Invention and expansion across the old world is a clear sign of collective learning, growing evolutionarily stronger.
So now they'll tell you all of that. So now, Lucky, go ahead.
Then, 315,000 years ago, people that were anatomically identical to Homo sapiens first appeared in Africa.
So now they say 315,000 years ago, because they would say 315,000 years ago, man appeared in Africa because they found bones in Morocco, and they say they go back to 315,000 years ago. A crazy number. So they would tell you, yep, life began in Africa because these bones go back to what they found in Morocco. Yes, Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. Why did Homo antecessor, Homo heidelberg, and the Neanderthals all go extinct while Homo sapiens did not?
And they say, why did the Neanderthals go extinct? So people like to say the Edomites, the Neanderthals, and all of those kind of things. But now what you'll find out is when you go all the way back, they will tell you that these Homo erectus or Homo sapiens and Neanderthals started off the same, and then the Neanderthals migrated. They migrated and started moving into colder climates. So now when you look up Neanderthal, the Neanderthals named after where they found the fossils. So it was found in a valley called Neander Valley. So because it was found in a place called Neander Valley, that's how it got the name Neanderthals. That's how they got the name Neanderthals, because they say the bones was found in Neander Valley Hold on, let me pull up Neander Valley. Bear with me. So hold on. So now that's the only reason they call them Neanderthals, because they found the bones there. So we'll let you know here. The Neanderthal, German, sometimes called the Neander Valley in English, is a small valley of the river Dossel in the German state of North Rhine-Westphalia. Blah, blah, blah. The valley lies within the, hold on. So it says the valley lies within the limits of the towns of Ekrath and Mettmann. In August 1856, the area became famous for the discovery of Neanderthal 1, one of the first specimens of Homo neanderthalensis to be found. The Neanderthal was originally a limestone canyon. Hold on. So now, basically, they didn't call themselves Neanderthals. Their bones was found in the Neander Valley, and that's how they got the name Neanderthal. That's how they got the name. So prior to that, they wouldn't ever call themselves Neanderthals. That's just what they was given the name because people found their bones in the Neander Valley. So Neander Valley basically means Neanderthal, basically. That's lucky. Go ahead, Hubba.
Kanawan Khan. Simply because Homo sapiens was the most talented at collective learning. For example, once Homo sapiens...
They say that there was different evolution of people at the time. They say the older people started off in Africa, the Neanderthals, went to Europe, and then the people that they say was living in Africa crossed. It's called the Long Bridge. Crossed the Long Bridge, and then they ended up in Europe, and then they started to attack the Neanderthals and make marriages with them. And then they say that all of us have 1 or 2% Neanderthal blood. This is the nonsense that they give you. Let's let you go ahead. Even they say that they say the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens have 99 point whatever DNA, and that's because before they became Neanderthals, before they became so-called Neanderthals, they was what? All in one place until they moved out. Listen, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like to me they're trying to do find the excuse for Jacob and Esau. To me, sounds like they're trying to find some kind of cover up instead of just saying, because in the beginning, imagine according to evolution, the Homo sapiens or whatever and the Neanderthals all started off the same, and then the Neanderthals left and became something else. So okay, go ahead.
Khan. Once Homo sapiens entered regions already populated by the Neanderthals, we outcompeted them for resources.
So they're saying that they entered places where the Neanderthals was, and they're saying that the Homo sapiens outcompeted them. Go ahead.
Khan. Likely unalive many of them, and notably also interbred with them. Outside of...
Is that the unalive many of them and interbred with them? Go ahead.
Khan. Outside of Africa, and a substantial amount of our DNA today includes Neanderthal genes.
So everyone's got Neanderthal blood in them. Some nonsense. Go ahead.
Khan. Homo sapiens had the most advanced collective learning, the most diverse toolkits, and were the most adaptable to new environments. We had big brains, a greater capacity for language.
They say he was able to get languages and whatnot because we had a bigger brain, and now having a bigger brain means you can soak up more knowledge and do more things. Go ahead.
Khan. And we were more capable of abstract thought, as evidenced by the fact that we alone painted cave art, used body paints, and played music, wore decorative jewelry, and demonstrated symbolic thinking. All of these traits complemented our capacity for collective learning as we built up huge knowledge bases about how to forage and survive in the hostile environments of the
hunting and so forth. So they say man was a hunter and so forth. Go ahead.
In the hostile environments of the Paleolithic world. Collective learning.
No straight to this one, so go ahead.
Khan. As we shall see, much of the story of human history is the intensification of both population numbers and connectivity. and the resulting acceleration. Look at how little humans have changed biologically over the past 10,000 or even 100,000.
They say that humans ain't changed, and what they put it down to is they look at old bones and they say that, oh well, these bones are 175,000 years old and the structure hasn't changed. Go ahead.
Khan. But consider how vastly our lifestyles have shifted in the same space of time. Everything is accelerating. How do we assign a date for a start of Homo sapiens? First, there are Homo remains discovered in East Africa between.
So now they're saying there's more remains they discovered. So they discovered these bones and remains, but who even knows if what they discovered is real? Because like we went over last week, those people that was making fake bones and trying to put a year on how long those bones have been there, and all of those kind of things. So yeah, you don't even know if you don't even want to give these things too much mind. So okay, go ahead.
Khan. Between 1967 and 1974. Radiometric dating puts the oldest of these remains of anatomically identical Homo sapiens at 195,000 to 200,000 years old.
So now they're saying these bones is 195,000 to 200,000 years old, which I doubt it's even true, because if you know anything about when people get buried, listen, them bones, them bones don't last that long, man. Those decay quick. So these are saying 200,000 years. Doesn't make no sense. Listen, I'm telling you, all of this stuff right here. Go to your great granddad's grave and see what's in there, man. Ain't gonna be nothing in there. So okay, go ahead.
Khan. Then in 2017, we discovered more Homo sapiens remains in Morocco.
Well, now this is where they say the oldest bones was found in Morocco. So that's why they would tell you life began in Africa. But if they found bones older than these ones in Morocco, then they would change it and tell you that, okay, life began here. So wherever they find these old bones, they would tell you, all right, life began there. Because these are the oldest bones that they found, that's why they always say man started in Africa, life began in Africa, because blah, blah, blah. So okay, go ahead.
Khan. So currently, 315,000 years old is the best supported start date for our species.
So now they go back. The earliest bones they have of mankind, they say, is 315,000 years old. That's what they say. Go ahead.
Khan. But this number could grow larger in the coming years if new discoveries are made.
See, so you could use that as the hill you're gonna die on. Like, yo, man began in Africa 315,000 years old, and then you could just get some new discoveries tomorrow. When we're, oh no, we got bones which is 316,000 years old, which is 1,000 years older than the ones that we found before. So now it's all subject to change according to them. All of these things is subject to change. What don't change is the word of the Lord. That's don't right. Change. These archaeologists and the change all the time. Yes, Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. It is unlikely Homo sapiens underwent a rapid genetic change subsequent to 315,000 years ago that significantly enhanced its intellectual or capacity for collective learning. They were using decorative beads in Africa prior to the Second Great Migration 64,000 years ago. Mining for new materials 100,000 years ago, fishing 120,000 years ago, and using body paints around 300,000 years ago. So we'll be operating on the assumption that the anatomically identical Homo sapiens started around 315,000 years ago, with only minor genetic changes,
genetic changes, go ahead,
such as skin color, hair color, eye color, and much later lactose intolerance and varying tolerances for alcohol. In the subsequent millennia, but no changes was so profound that it required classification as a different species or subspecies. Stone Age humans. We now properly enter the realm of human history For the majority of human history, an estimated 95 to 98.5% of our entire existence, we dwelled in small groups or of foragers, ranging across the earth, hunting, gathering food. The historical actors in this part of the story were anatomically identical to modern humans, with the same range of emotions and capacity for invention that we possess today. As such, it's easier for us to feel empathy with those in this part of the story than the living beings of earlier periods. These people were us. If we had been born in that era, we would have behaved the same way. But human foragers lived very different lifestyles in a world hit with ice ages and populated by
Now they're talking about ice ages and all of those things. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan and populated by a terrifying range of megafauna, from saber-toothed tigers to carnivorous 3 meter tall kangaroos. The past is indeed another country, if not another planet. Taking
Another thing, back then you had these tall kangaroos and you had all these tall and large animals. 3 meters is tall because a 6 foot man is like 1.88 meters, I believe. Yeah, a 6 foot man is about 1.88 meters. So 3 meters, kangaroo's like his size and a half. So let me go ahead.
Khan. Taking the 315,000 year date as our starting point, approximately 100 billion humans have lived and died on the surface of the earth since the origin of our species. Of those, 16 to 20 billion have lived since the start of the Industrial Revolution 250 years ago, with nearly 8 billion alive today. At the time of writing. In addition, 55 billion are estimated to have lived between the beginning of agriculture 12,000 years ago and
Go read that part again.
Khan. An additional 55 billion are estimated to have lived between the beginning of agriculture 12,000 years ago and the Industrial Revolution.
Hold on, wait a minute. There's something that I wanted. Did I want in here? Actually, no, keep reading.
Khan. That's 71 to 75 billion people out of 100 billion.
Now they're giving you the estimate of how much people would have lived. Go ahead.
Khan. That leaves approximately 25 to 29 billion people who lived between 12,000 and 315 years ago. The foraging era
So they're letting you know how many people lived in Africa, so they're saying. Go ahead.
Khan.
And then they can't narrow it down saying the amount of people that lived in Africa, because back then no one called it Africa. Everything was called by its land and who occupied it. Now, like Africa, calling it Africa is a blanket term. Like when a man says I'm African, that's a blanket term, because that's like a man saying to you is European. You want to know where, and it's like a man saying to me, yo, where do I live in? I say Europe. That could be Spain, Portugal. It could be anywhere. It could be Europe, anywhere in Europe. So a man saying, yeah, I live in Africa. Like, what's the location? Listen, a man don't say I'm catching a flight to Africa, because there's so much countries in Africa where if you say to a pilot, yeah, drop me off in Africa, he's going to say to you, yo, there's about 50-something countries here, man. Which country do you want to be dropped off in? Say that again. Oh, okay, go ahead, Alban.
Khan. For the majority of that time, most humans lived in Africa, and only in the past 64,000 to 100,000 years have a substantial number of humans lived in the rest of the world. We know that the Earth can only support about 6 to 8 million foragers living in any given time.
So they said most people lived in Africa, then after that they started branching out. Let me get the next slide. So go ahead.
Khan, the overwhelming majority of the Paleolithic our numbers were a lot fewer than 500,000. Biologically and instinctually speaking, humans are best suited to the foraging lifestyle. It is what we were wired for. All the vast changes of the past 12,000 years since the invention of agriculture have not left enough time for us to evolve.
Everyone was foraging, and then 12,000 years ago they came up with agriculture, where you start planting food and whatnot. Go ahead.
And one can't to evolve and catch up. In short, we are cavemen in fancy shoes.
That's the white man that is. He's a caveman. He's trying to say that's us. That's not us. That's him. That's him. Haban, do you want to know do you want to know how we know that's him? Because when we go back into the scriptures, Adam was the father of agriculture, man. And that's what they're basically saying here. What they're basically saying here is before agriculture, everybody was living how they wanted to live, foraging, eating, whatever. And then agriculture came up. And you know what else is crazy? Adam's like the father of agriculture. And guess where agriculture started? In the Middle East, man. That's right. They'll tell you that it started in the Middle East. We're going to get into it in a minute. They'll tell you how it started around the same rivers where Adam was placed. The white man even called the Middle East, agriculture around the Garden of Eden. He even knows it. But obviously they're trying to not link Adam to agriculture. Because what they was doing all this foraging until the Lord told Adam, do this, do that, do this, do that. So they was the cavemen in fancy shoes, man. What else, Lucky? Go ahead.
Come on, Ice Ages. The past 2.5 million years have seen numerous waves of cooling and heating, with long glacial periods, ice ages, interspread with so-called interglacial periods, such as the one now.
So now the ice age and the glacier periods and the ice sheets. So now, once upon a time, they say man could walk across them bridges to other European countries. Hold on, there was a bridge that they say is sunk underwater now. It's called. Hold on, let me see if we can pull it up. Mm-hmm. This one.
Yeah, but when people go crazy, so they don't get the results back in the weekend.
They don't get what?
The results.
Oh. Shit, Haban, so lucky. I'm typing in Duggan Bridge. These lot think I'm talking about something else. This laptop's about to have to type in Ice Age. If that was the name of it. That's the name of it. Duggan Bridge. So lucky as me messing up. Hold on. Oh, where's it? Hold on. All right, so now, hold on, let me just pull up. Let me share my screen. So this right here, it says Doggerland was a large area of land in northern Europe, now submerged beneath the southern North Sea. This region was repeatedly exposed at various times during the Pleistocene epoch due to the lowering of sea levels during glacial periods. However, the term Doggerland is generally specifically used for the region during the early Holocene following the glacier retreat at the end of the last glacier period. The exposed land area of Doggerland stretched across the region between what is now the east coast of Great Britain, northern France, Belgium, the Netherlands, northwestern Germany, and the Danish peninsula of Jutland. Between 10,000 and 7,000 years ago, Doggerland was inundated by rising sea levels, disintegrating initially into a series of low-lying islands before submerging completely. The impact of the tsunami generated by the storage of underwater landslide 8,200 years ago on Doggerland is controversial. The flooded land is known as the Dogger Littoral. So now, they tell you that man could walk from England into other European countries. And then, because of water rising and whatnot. Man couldn't do that no more. They said man couldn't do that no more. So that's how they explain the Ice Age. When really, could it be that the Lord flooded the earth and that's why you can't walk to certain regions, man? Could it be the Lord flooded the earth and that's why you can't walk to certain regions? But it's lucky. Go ahead, Haban.
Khan. There have been 2 or 3 ice ages since Homo sapiens evolved in Africa 15,000 years ago. During an ice age, large parts of North America, Europe, and Asia were covered in ice sheets. The average
now they say that that's how animals was able to travel to certain places because they say it was low sea levels. So imagine like there's low water that you can walk through. They say once upon a time there was low water that you could walk through, and now they're saying you no longer can. That's what they're basically saying because they let the sea rise, and that's why there's oceans and seas to why lands is separated. Because they was like, why would England be an island on its own? They was like, England wasn't an island originally. It was a place where you could cross the Doggerland Bridge, and people migrated through the earth during the Ice Age. So they say one day it was too cold and whatnot. Then as the ice melted and climates became warmer, people started to spread out across the earth. That's what they say. So okay, go ahead.
Khan. The average global temperature drops previously lush climates in other regions of the world, such as Africa, dry out, and the sea level drops. The second to last ice age started 195,000 years ago.
So they say the last ice age was 195,000 years ago. Hold on, let me get the next slide. Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. When Homo sapiens were alive and well in Africa, it continued for a further 60,000 years until an interglacial period began 135,000 years ago. The interglacial lasted for just 20,000 years until approximately 115,000 years ago. Interglacial periods are generally shorter than glacial ones. The last glacial period began 115,000 years ago, and it was a particularly long time, lasting just over 100,000 years. It was in this world that humans migrated out of Africa and across the earth.
So now they're telling you this is the time once people started to spread out across the earth. So now they're trying to tell you something else, but what they're telling you supports the Bible. I'm gonna tell you why. You know why? Because the Bible tells you that man started off in one place. They're telling you that man started off in one place before they branched out. The Bible tells you that also, man started off in one place before they branched out. Let's look. You go ahead.
Khan. At the height of the last ice age, about 30% of the Earth's terrestrial surface was covered with ice. Where ice sheets did not spread, colder temperatures made forests turn to woodland or even deserts. Winters lasted longer than they currently do, while most humans 115,000 years ago lived in Africa. The conditions there were much more frigid than those experienced in Africa today.
Let's say that once upon a time, Africa was colder than it is today. So that's the saying. It was cold once upon a time, and they say people migrated because they wanted food and there weren't enough room for everyone to be there and so forth. But that's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. Homo sapiens' foraging method of finding food remained the same for thousands of years.
So foraging is like hunting, and that's what they would do. Hunt for food. Go ahead.
Khan. Roam a territory hunting and gathering until the flora and fauna of the region become depleted.
So now they say that they would hunt so much that the region would become depleted, and then they would move on. So that's how they spread out through the earth. They say, go ahead.
Khan. Then move on to another region while the previous one naturally replenishes itself.
And that's what they say. They would say these would stress a region so much until they have to move and wait for it to replenish itself. And now Them not doing that. Listen, in the Bible tells us, yo, we got to let the land rest, man. So listen, what these are trying, what these archaeologists are trying to do, they don't want to tell you, yeah, the Bible's right, because the Bible tells you, listen, they only know this recently that you must let lands rest and leave things and it will replenish. We knew that years ago just from having the records. Go ahead.
Khan. Using this method, the entire surface of the earth can only support 6 to 8 million foragers.
So they're saying this earth can only support 6 to 8 million hunters. Go ahead.
Khan. As human populations in Africa grew, they needed to find more food to support them. The answer to this problem was not to intensify the amount of food produced in Africa, but to extensify by traveling further and further afield. This may have prompted the first great migration of humans out of Africa 100,000 years ago into the Middle East.
This prompted the first migration out of Africa 100,000 years ago into the Middle East. Go ahead.
Khan, with some indicators that they reached as far as India. These regions were still out of reach of the ice sheets despite this migration. The vast majority of humans remained in Africa. We have indicators in our DNA histories that human genetic diversity shrunk dramatically before the second Great Migration.
And now they're talking about this Great Migration. They say that they moved for food and all of those things, but hold that, but get me Genesis chapter 11 and verse 6.
Come on, sir. 11 and 6.
Yeah, Genesis 11 and verse 6.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one.
And you know what's crazy? They will tell you that Iraq is where early civilizations began. And then they will let you know in archaeology that man spread out over the earth from places like Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq, I believe. They will tell you that man spread it out from modern day Iraq because it was an early place of civilization. That's what archaeology will tell you. And they will tell you man migrated from Mesopotamia. Why? Because they needed food and so forth. But how ironic that the Bible places the migration in the same place, man. The same place they migrated from. The Bible lets you know why they really migrated. Now, them saying that they migrated for food is speculation, because no one was around at the time to know why they migrated. So it only makes sense that they migrated for the reason why the Lord said they migrated. Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Let me see if this gives me. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me type in something. See if it gives me. Nah, this ain't giving me. But they will let you know certain early civilizations migrated from Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq, which is where Babylon was. That's lucky. Go ahead, Haban.
Khan. And they have all one language. And this they begin to do. and now nothing will be restrained from them.
What the people's doing when they came together, how they was trying to build a tower. They was all joining together in wickedness and trying to have one world order. What was trying to all come together, and the Lord separated their languages and spread them out across the face of the earth. And in archaeology, what they would call this is like a migration. But when you look up where Mesopotamia is and so forth, and how these that was spread it out from Africa, then spread it out from Mesopotamia, they say the Tower of Babel was in that same region. So go ahead.
Khan. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
And the Lord confounded their languages, meaning they was all speaking the same thing. And the Lord confounded their languages, which means early stages, they was all speaking one language. That's what the Bible says. Now the archaeologists say in the beginning, all of them would have been speaking one thing until over time they got different languages. They don't tell you how they got the different languages. It's because the Lord went down there, and the Lord went down there and did what? Scattered them. And then over time, you will branch off with your family and someone else will branch with their family. And then each time you add a new word to your vocab, a next word, and then that becomes your language. And the new words that you've added to your vocab won't be in my vocab. So when I hear you say those words, I don't know what it means. And over time, your accent changes and so forth. And then it's near enough a whole new language. So Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. So the Lord scattered them from thence upon the face of all of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth.
They did what?
Did the Lord confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth.
And that's how man spread out over the face of the earth. Because remember, after the flood, Noah and his kids came off the ark together, man. Came off the ark together. Then over time, his kids had kids and had kids. And then they began to start trying to join together and build towers. And that's how man was scattered upon the face of the earth. So the history will tell you about this migration and all of these kind of things. Go ahead. Actually, you can go back to the slide. Was there any more in the Bible? Or I think that's about it, right?
From these generations. No, then it goes into generations of Shem.
Oh yes, Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. One possible explanation is the super volcanic eruption that occurred during this period at Mount Toba 74,000 years ago, in the middle of the island of Sumatra, in present-day Indonesia, was a volcano. Where this volcano once stood, there is now a lake, or rather a crater. Mount Toba exploded with the force of 1.5 million Hiroshima-sized bombs, and with the force of the nuclear arsenal of every single country in the world.
So much people died in this volcanic eruption. Population went down and whatnot. Go ahead.
Khan, multiplied by at least 3. The eruption threw an unprecedented amount of rock into the atmosphere, scattering rubble and magma far and wide on a continental scale. A layer of volcanic ash, an average of 15 centimeters thick, settled over everything in South and East Asia.
These are saying all of this. Sounds like Sodom and Gomorrah to me.
That's right.
It sounds like to me. I might be wrong. I'm usually wrong sometimes. I might be wrong again, but it's Lucky, go ahead. I'm just saying a lot of stuff that they're masking archaeology sounds like things you find in the Bible. So Lucky, go ahead.
Khan, but also in India and India, Arabia, and as far as East Africa, much more ash was flung up.
But also in India, Arabia, and as far as East Africa, go ahead.
Much more ash was flung up into the atmosphere, darkening the skies and obstructing the sunlight in an era already beset by an ice age. What followed may have been a decade of perpetual winter for the entire globe. It may have well reduced the population to 10,000 people, or even as few as 3,000 in the past decade.
They're saying it reduced the population. That's what they're saying. So, look, you go ahead.
Khan. The Toba hypothesis has been disputed by several scientists. I am still waiting for an alternative explanation for the bottleneck that is evident in our DNA. Hold on for the second edition. Regardless, the genetic bottleneck tells us something very important about race. In a nutshell, humans today came from at most 10,000 people only a few tens of thousands of years ago. That is not enough time for significant genetic differences to occur between ethnicities. In fact, compared to other primates, modern humans today have extremely low amount of genetic diversity. There is more genetic diversity between two groups of chimps separated by a few hundred miles than in the entire human race. We are not exactly an inbred species, but are pretty damn closely related.
So now they're saying that we closely related and blah blah blah. Listen, they've been trying to say we're related to chimpanzees because they can't work out how man got here, so they can only look back and say the Big Bang, and we must have come from animals, and over time we evolved into what we are today. So instead of them just saying God exists, they have to give you this whole story.
So, you know, like horses can breed a zebra. They're close. If we're close to chimpanzees, how come people can't breed a chimpanzee? Also,
this is what these are saying. They say, back then, our original ancestor both died. So they say that our original ancestor was here. Humans went that way. Chimps went that way. So they're saying that we're related, but we're not completely related to where we can interbreed. Some nonsense like that.
The horse and the zebra, their ancestor like it. The donkey as well.
Yeah. But they're saying our ancestor. So that's what evolutionists will say to you. Because we'll say to them, well, if we come from chimpanzees, why don't we evolve today? And they will say, no, we're not from chimpanzees. We had the same ancestor, and both of us came from the ancestor. And they stayed chimpanzees, and we stayed what we are today. But we come from the ancestor.
Like horse and zebras are like one ancestor, so they can breed. Like a dog can breed other dogs.
Exactly, we should be able to.
How come we can't breed chimps then?
Exactly, and they say that because we have 97% DNA, we're meant to have 99 to make it work. So that's the nonsense they'll give you. That our DNA is only 97%, whatnot. So I can go ahead, Oban.
That's the end of that one. The Second Great Migration. By 64,000 years ago, we headed out of Africa for a second time. Humans spread from Africa through the Middle East down to India.
They spread from Africa through the Middle East. Go ahead.
Khan, down to India and Indo-China within just a few thousand years. By approximately 60,000 years ago, humans had figured out how to use the land bridge that existed.
This slide I wanted. It says they fled from Africa through the Middle East. So then they will tell you that there was in the Middle East, and they had civilizations, like they had civilizations which is like Iraq and all of those places, and then they tell you to spread from there through the land bridges, and the land bridges a place when the water was low. So that's how they started going to Europe and all these other countries. So now, when they're talking about the Middle East, we know there was a migration because we know man spread out over the earth. They just give you the migration in a roundabout way. That's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. Humans had figured out how to use the land bridge that existed in Indonesia at the time, due to the lower sea levels from the Ice Age, to make their way by foot and by rafting into Australia.
So they said they went by foot and rafting. Go ahead.
Stone Age seafaring is no easy task. The entry of humans into Australia is foraging equivalent of landing on the moon. Humans gradually spread across Australia over the next 20,000 years.
Even crazy years. Go ahead.
Khan. Heading into Tasmania by by 400,000 years ago via another land bridge.
So now they'll tell you about all these land bridges. So they'll tell you, oh, there was less water and people could walk and forage and travel, and they moved across and set up families there. Go ahead.
Khan. Stone Age seafaring is no easy task. The entry of humans into Australia is the equivalent of landing on the moon. Humans gradually spread across Australia over the next 20,000 years, heading to Tasmania by 40,000 years ago via another land bridge. Also around 40,000 years ago, humans went north into colder climates, crossed the Caucasus Mountains, and entered Russia.
Listen, man, they know how the white man got to Russia, man. They know that part, but they'll lie to you. They'll lie to you. Listen, man, you headed into the north, into the colder climates, and you crossed the Caucasus Mountains and entered Russia. That's how the Jewish man ended up in the regions, man. So, go ahead.
Khan, quickly making their way into Europe from the east. Most impressively, humans continued to spread into increasingly colder climates.
So now they're saying this is how they got into these colder climates. Go ahead.
Khan. And colder climates, and were in Ice Age Siberia by at least 20,000 years ago. Considered the survival skills necessary in such an environment, the entry of the human into the Americas requires a more searching statement.
Go ahead.
We are less sure of how people got there. It seems clear that humans would have crossed the Bering Strait.
See, and that's why fake Israelites say, "Oh, those people, the North American Indians are from Siberia because they crossed the Bering Strait." Here they said they don't know how they would have got there, but in the book of Ezra, I can show you how they would have got there. Where is it now? Second Ezra. Hold on, where am I going to find that one? Hold on. It's somewhere. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Thirteen, 45.
It's like, how about get me second Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 45.
Khan, second Ezra, chapter 13.
So now they said they didn't know how they would have got there, but they said they would have crossed the Bering Strait. But the reason they would say that is because obviously archaeologist doesn't believe in miracles and so forth. So they have to find the most practical way outside of theology. So they don't believe in theology. So now, if you give them something biblical, to them they're like, nah, we can't put that in a archaeology form. So they look for the most closest way it could have happened and give their commentary. So now that's why they say, yeah, they would have crossed the Bering Strait, because the archaeologist is not going to say the Lord held back the waters. Archaeologists are going to say that. That's from a spiritual theologist view, but from an archaeologist view, they're not going to say that. So, okay, go ahead.
Khan, second Ezra chapter 13, verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely,
way to go. So for them to get to the Americas was a great way to go. Go ahead.
Khan, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth.
And it says the same region. Go ahead.
Then dwelt they until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay in the springs of the streams again.
Hold on, you might have missed some. There's a part where it says it held back the flood. Probably go up 2 verses.
Khan. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
One more verse.
Khan, verse 42. That they might keep their statutes, which they never... Up again. 41. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forward.
Amongst themselves, I said, yo, we're tired of these Assyrians, man. We're tired of them. I said, yo, we're gonna go somewhere where no one's dwelt, and we're gonna keep our laws there. Go ahead.
Khan, and go forth into a further country.
And they went for a further country. Go ahead.
where never mankind dwelt.
They went to a further country where never mankind dwelt. And the same thing the archaeologists say is nobody dwelt there, man. But they just can't work out how the people got there. They said they must have crossed the Bering Strait. But the Bible says otherwise. Lucky, go ahead.
Khan, that they might there keep their statutes,
And
which they never
they're going to keep their own statutes. Go ahead.
which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood.
Passage, and the Lord showed signs for them. Go ahead.
And held still the flood till they were passed over.
Held still the flood. Go ahead.
Till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go.
Namely, that way to go, the Lord held that back so they could get there. That's how they got there. But archaeologists don't understand how they got there, so they was like, "Oh, yeah, they must have crossed the Bering Strait." So go ahead.
Khan. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Listen, a year and a half's a long time, you know. A year and a half ain't no. Listen, we on the plane for 8 hours and we upset. We upset, and we on the plane for a year and a half. No, we on the plane for 8 hours. So imagine traveling for a year and a half.
Khan. And the same region is called Arsareth. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the higher shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
You can drop that. Take me back to the slide goes on.
Khan. It seems clear that humans would have crossed the Bering Strait, which was then yet another land bridge.
See, so now they say they crossed the Bering Strait, a land. They say it seems they would have. The reason they say that is because the carnal, they're not spiritual, so they don't know about the Lord holding back the floods because they don't know nothing about Ezra. In their mind, the simple way is must have crossed the Bering Strait. That's what they would say. So a man that don't understand the Bible and ain't spiritual, obviously an archaeologist ain't gonna say, "Oh yeah, the Lord held the floods back for them." They're not gonna say that. They're just going by archaeology. So they ain't gonna say, "Yep, they went there this way." They're just finding. Let's say, for instance, if I seen a car on a roof, I'm gonna believe a crane pull it on there or something. I'm saying, "Yeah, well, a man must have pull it on a crane and pull it on there." I'm not gonna say, "Yeah, Superman." I'm not gonna say, "Yeah, Superman picked it up and put it on there." I'm not gonna say that. So that's the reason why they ain't using the same thing as the Bible. They're just going by what's logical to them. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Khan. Between Siberia and Alaska, between 20,000 and 15,000 years ago, perhaps following herds of animals they hunted.
And now they say that they crossed the Bering Strait following herds of animals that they hunted. Go ahead.
Khan. But during the Ice Age, there were huge ice sheets that would have prevented humans from traveling beyond Alaska.
They're saying there was huge ice sheets that would have traveled that would have prevented humans from traveling beyond Alaska. That's Lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. Then between 15,000 and 12,000 years ago, as ice sheets retreated, a passage may have opened up for foragers to travel through, moving south through the Americas.
So now they say ice sheets may have retreated, and there would have been a passage for people to get through the Americas. Go ahead. This is all hypothesis, by the way.
Khan. Another hypothesis is that humans may have bypassed ice sheets by slowly rafting down the Pacific coast, or it may have been.
Now they're still trying to work out how they got there. They're saying maybe the bypass ice sheets and all of those things. Go ahead.
Khan. Or it may have been a mixture of the two. Either way, Homo sapiens became the first and only species of our genus to inhabit the Americas.
Read that one more time.
Homo sapiens became the first and only species of our genus to inhabit the Americas.
The same thing that Ezra said. No man ever dwelt there. These archaeologists are saying the same thing, man. When you actually understand parts of evolution, they actually support the Bible unknowingly. Unknowingly, they support the Bible. In Ezra's, hold on, get that for me one more time when it says no mankind never dwelt there. Get that for me one more time. What's the scripture again?
13 and 40, no man dwelt there.
Yeah, see if you can find that one for me.
Khan, verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth further into a country where never mankind dwelt.
And they said, in Ezra's, they said they're going to go to a country where never mankind dwelt. And here it says, Homo sapiens became the first and only species of our genus to inhabit the Americas, which is letting you know. And imagine this.
That's mad. So, sorry, in the beginning of life, no one's ever dwelt in America.
Yeah.
Natives.
Yeah.
You know, usually the history is about wars and this man and that man and the migration. That's mad.
Yeah. There's the first one to dwell there, and these lot are saying the same thing. Imagine these lot have never said, yeah, nobody else dwelt. They never highlight nobody else not dwelling nowhere else, but the Americans they know, but nobody else dwelt there before. So now archaeology is basically saying the same thing to just get their years and dates and a few things mixed up and how they got there. Because they don't know how they got there. It's because the Lord held back the flood. Because imagine this. They're saying, yo, we don't know how they got there. Maybe they rafted. But how would they get there if there was ice sheets? The way they got there, the Lord held back the flood. Because even they know, from a normal point of view, they can't get there with them ice sheets there. So they're saying, yo, they must have crossed some bridge. There must have been a bridge that got them there. Not realizing it's the Lord that got them there. So, not realizing it's the Lord that got them there. So these archaeologists don't even know. They're saying the same thing that Ezra was saying. And the thing is this, how could Ezra get this so spot on, man? How could Ezra get this so spot on from all them years ago, living where he lived? Living where he lived and writing how he writes. How could he get this spot on? Why wouldn't he choose another land if the Bible's not true? Why wouldn't he choose another land? He happened to choose a land which is spot on, which lets you know the Lord is with this Bible, man. So, okay, go ahead.
So what's the Bible saying? They got there on boats and shit? Or?
Yeah, he's saying you don't know how they got there, but he's saying Homo sapiens was the first people to ever dwell there.
That's mad. So before there's animals and stuff.
Yeah, so he's saying no humans ever dwelt there. So he's saying however they got there, they was the first people to get there at that time.
I ChatGPT, same thing. That's
See?
mad, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So even they know, even they agree with the Bible unknowingly. When you look at evolution, you have to know what to take away from it and what not. Let me skip that slide. Lucky, go ahead, Haban.
Khan, old-fashioned wiring. Humans were extremely well attuned to life as foragers, having existed in that state for 315,000 years, and having evolved from previous hominins that also foraged for their existence. But we had to cope with potential damaging situations that would end our genetic line there and then. Our instincts evolved accordingly. In many ways, human instincts are designed to exist in small foraging communities. For example, take social anxiety. In modernity, there isn't really any good reason to have anxiety prior to giving a talk to a crowd of strangers or being nervous before a first date.
Now they're saying that we learned how to become nervous based on when we was foragers and living in a little village or city. Go ahead.
Khan, there are millions of people out there in your city. You can humiliate yourself in front of hundreds of audience members or potential mates and still go out there the next day and try.
Now they're saying this is how we learn instincts. Go ahead.
Khan, and still go out the next day and try again with a different group. This was not the case for foragers in the Paleolithic. A group of humans might be a few dozen in number, and you would spend your entire life with them. If you made a fool of yourself in front of a large crowd of people, you might be socially ostracized.
So now they're saying if you made this fool of yourself, so they're saying back then that's how they learned shame. But when you read the Bible, we learned shame the same way. You could be ostracized from your people for doing something wrong, man. If you're homosexual, you kicked out from amongst us. We learn shame from these laws of God, man. We learn what we can and can't do. Go ahead.
Can't, which would reduce your access to food and mates.
And now, in our laws, the same thing. If you're kicked out, you ain't getting no food from us, man. You can't get no food from us. You're wandering around, living. You're wandering around, living, doing whatever you want to do. Go ahead.
Can't, or you might be thrown out of the group altogether if they disliked you enough. If you made a fool of yourself in front of a prospective mate, they might tell the others, and your DNA would be rudely ejected from the gene pool forever.
You'd be kicked out, and now they said back then. Imagine this. They said back then, if you made a fool out of yourself, you'd be kicked out of the gene pool forever. We kick you out, man. You do the wrong thing. You get cast out. You do the wrong thing. It sounds like these people here understand a little bit of how man lived back then. They're making out like, yeah, this was ages ago and whatnot. We live that way till this day. If you've got a cousin or a family member that does something wrong, they're kicked out, man. How about get me Genesis chapter 4 and verse 19?
Come on, sir. Genesis 4 and 19, he said.
You don't even need that yet. But now, if you live like that, you was kicked out. Now here, they're talking about, this is how man lived back. That's how we learn shame and whatnot. Listen, man, we learned these things because the Lord gave us laws, and whoever didn't abide by that law was cast out. That's how we learned it. Don't let them lie to you and make out, yes, because man, blah, 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 blah. Man without the laws of God don't care what you do. Man without the laws of God don't care about what you do. Slucky, go ahead.
Can't. Genesis chapter 4, verse 9.
Read the slide, I'll get that one after if I need it.
Can't, sir. Or you might be thrown on. Okay. In fact, this sort of danger within a small, close-knit social hierarchy goes back at least as far as our last common ancestors with chimpanzees.
See, now they're trying to say this goes back to chimpanzees. No, it doesn't, man. Chimpanzees don't care what you do. I've never seen a chimpanzee kick another chimpanzee out for doing something heinous, man. I ain't seen it. Animals don't have that kind of mind frame that we do. They don't have that what we do. So let you go ahead.
Can't. 5 million years ago. In that context, it makes sound evolutionary sense to have an instinct that agitates humans in social situations. Much of our instincts have evolved in a similar way, and many of them are ill-suited to modernity.
So now, they're trying to say that, way back then, when we was chimpanzees, this is how we learned it. Because if you weren't doing certain things, you was kicked out. Nah, man, we learned that from God.
That's right.
Because outside of the Bible, people don't have no shame. You only know what's embarrassing in life is once you came into the truth, man. Once you came into the truth, that's how you know what's embarrassing in life. Hold on one second. Let me see. Let me see what the next slide is. Hold on. Let me see if I need this one. So now, this is what happens. We learn. Hold on. Let me get one of them. Let me get one of them scriptures that I'm talking about. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just get a simple one. Leviticus 23:29. Let me just get one. Let me get Leviticus chapter 23, verse 29. But here it says, for whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. That's how we learned shame, man. We was like, I can't do that because if I do that, I'm going to be cut off from amongst my people. That's what we knew. We knew, damn, we can't do that because we're going to get cut off from amongst our people. That's what we knew. Like what it is, people always want to discredit the Bible. And people that do evolution, they all want to discredit the Bible. Well, if the Bible knows this, why don't the Bible say that? If the Bible does this, why don't they say that? People say things like, why ain't the Bronze Age and the Iron Age in the Bible? Why ain't those things in the Bible and whatnot? People say, well, if your Bible's so smart, why don't you know about the evolution of man and the Bronze Age and the Iron Age and whatnot? Well, let me get the next slide. Actually, Slakia, Haban, read what you got.
Genesis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 19.
Actually, you know what? Jump down to 22.
4, verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare to Baal-Cain an instructor.
Instructor, go ahead.
An instructor of every artificer in brass and iron.
Brass and Iron Age is in the Bible, man. Tubal-Cain is the father of brass and iron, man.
That's right.
I guarantee you, none of you niggas knew the Iron Age was in the Bible. Brass and the Iron Age was in. How about you didn't know brass and the Iron Age was in the Bible? That's what I'm saying. They don't know brass and the Iron Age is in the Bible. That's what I'm saying. All these things you find in evolution is in the Bible. Imagine this. The Bible tells you about the brass and Iron Age. It says Tubal-Cain was an instructor in brass and iron, man. What's that? The Iron Age, brass, the Bronze Age. What's brass, bronze? The Bronze Age and the Iron Age is in the scriptures and people don't even know. Read that one more time.
Khan. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of.
And now, imagine this. The Bible, Genesis, actually gives you the genealogy. First man was foragers, hunters. Then after that, man started moving into agriculture. Then after that came the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and the Stone Age. And the Bible's giving you in that correct order.
Brass and iron.
Huh?
Not iron and brass.
Exactly. The Bible's giving you all these things. How Tubal-Cain was the father of like instruments and brass and iron. Read that one more time for those that say the Bronze Age and the Iron Age ain't in the Bible. Go ahead.
Khan, verse 22. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron.
And now, from what I remember, the region where Tubal-Cain was living is where the Bronze Age and Iron Age, they say it kind of started around there, which is letting you know the Bible's facts, man. I'm telling you, whatever you want to find is in the Bible. I'm trying to tell you. That's lucky. Go ahead, Haban.
Am I carrying on with the slides?
Yeah, you can go back to the slide. I don't think there's any more on that scripture. Yeah, you can go back to the slide.
Khan. After several tens of thousands of years of migration, humans had spread into every major world zone on Earth. Following the end of the last ice age, the world's foraging population reached its zenith at approximately 6 to 8 million people. The largest population was in Afro-Eurasia, with an estimated 5 million people, and followed by the Americas with an estimated 2 million people, and Australasia with 500,000 to 1 million people. Humans had yet settled in much of the Pacific Islands until between 4,000 and 800 years ago. Due to the end of the last ice age, 12,000 years ago, the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East experienced.
It says the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East. Let's see where's the Fertile Crescent. Let's see where's the Fertile Crescent. See, it says the Fertile Crescent is a crescent-shaped region in the Middle East, spanning parts of modern-day Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Palestine, Egypt, Turkey, and Iran. And imagine that, where the Lord said is the land of milk and honey, They call it the Fertile Crescent, which was flourishing, man. Even they know the Middle East is, you know, the land of all lands. Slucky, go ahead.
Khan in the Middle East experienced a greening and
They call
abundance.
the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East experienced a greening. And where did the Lord put Adam in the Middle East, man? Go ahead.
Khan, and abundance of food so that generations and foragers did not have to migrate in order to find it.
And imagine this. Foragers before Adam, they was migrating to find food. Once Adam came and was in the Fertile Crescent and those regions, and he was planting and whatnot, they didn't have to go out to find food no more. Go ahead.
Khan. Such territories are called Gardens of Eden.
Hold on. Even the historians know the Fertile Crescent and this part of the Middle East, they call it the Garden of Eden. The same place where Adam was, they call it the Garden of Eden in the Bible. And these like, no, yo, this location gets so much stuff here. This is the Garden of Eden. Even they know this. Go ahead.
Khan. By historians and archaeologists, foragers switched to semi-sedentary lives, collecting surrounding vegetation and hunting animals, while reducing the amount of distance they traveled over the course of a generation.
Good.
Then, as populations boomed and food became scarcer, these foragers were forced into what archaeologists call the trap of sedentism, and were compelled to domesticate plants and animals in order to prevent themselves from starving. This was the start of the farming, where
This was the start of farming, man. Hold on, let me get hold on. Let me get Genesis chapter 2 and verse 8.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 8. 2 and
imagine they call the Fertile Crescent the cradle of civilization. That's what they call it, man. It's lucky. Go ahead.
Khan. And the Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight.
Now even they understood at one time. They even said it at one time. Man didn't have to forage no more and travel for food. That's what they said. Why? Because the Lord, made everything grow. They don't know how. They just said, man, just planted plants and they didn't need to travel no more. They said that what? The Fertile Crescent is the cradle of civilization. They said the cradle of civilization is in the Middle East. The Lord said he put a man east in the Garden of Eden. They called the Middle East the Garden of Eden. How much more proof do we need? How much more proof do we need, man?
That's right. Before the curse of Adam, he had to plant food and shit, innit?
Mm.
And before that, he never.
Nah.
And this is saying in the Fertile Crescent,
it's booming.
Yeah.
So first man used to forage for food, and then they didn't need to travel. It was booming, and then it's kind of crazy. Later on, you'll see that man had to start farming more harder and come up with more technical stuff to farm. But obviously, archaeology will tell you in a different way. Archaeology will tell you in a different way. So now in the beginning, the never used farming were as difficult as it is now, basically, until obviously Adam messed up and then he had to spit up his brow. But Lucky, go ahead.
Am I carrying on in the Bible?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear what else is in there.
Khan. That is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also is in the midst of the garden.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me type in, where did agriculture start? Hold on, wait a minute. Look at read that scripture that you're holding right there.
Quran, verse 9. Now of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food.
Take me back to, hold on, what's this one?
Back to 8.
Yeah, take me back to, hold on, wait a minute. I'm just trying to stop screen. Yeah, take me back to that verse that you got.
Quran, Genesis chapter 2, verse 8.
Go ahead.
And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed.
So now the Lord formed a man, and the Lord put this man in the garden to do agriculture. Now, when we look at this right here, agriculture originated in the Middle East, particularly in the Fertile Crescent, over 10,000 years ago, marking a pivotal moment in human history. The Fertile Crescent, the cradle of agriculture, the Fertile Crescent, which encompasses parts of modern-day Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, is widely recognized as the birthplace of agriculture. This region provided a unique combination of fertile soil, a temperate climate, and a variety of wild plants and animals suitable for domestication. And who gave the animals their names and whatnot? Listen, man. All of this is pointing to the Bible, man. All of this is pointing to the Bible. Hold on. The earliest evidence of agriculture dates back to around with fig trees cultivated in what is now Jordan. By 9000 BCE, wheat and goats were domesticated in the Levant, followed by peas and lentils. Olive trees were cultivated in the eastern Mediterranean. Animal domestication, cattle were first domesticated around 8500 from wild oxen. In the Near East, genetic studies suggest that all modern cattle are descended from a small number of these early domesticated animals. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, they even call Adam the father of civilization, man. Because imagine this. They say agriculture started in the Middle East. Read that scripture again where the Lord put Adam.
Genesis 2, verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man who he had formed.
There he put the man who he had formed, man. Eastward in Eden, which we know is the Middle East. Lucky, go back to this slide and close up with this.
This was the start of farming.
This was the start of farming, man. Go ahead.
Where deliberate cultivation of food resources supported larger populations in a great population density. The practice of agriculture spread into Egypt or independently conceived there, across the Middle East, and gradually into Europe.
See, and they know where agriculture started. So imagine this. When archaeologists and people try to downplay the Bible, the same thing that they're saying, I can show you in the Bible. I can show you the Bronze Age and Stone Age in the Bible. I can show you the father of the cradle of civilization and agriculture in the Bible. I can show you all these things in the Bible. Understand this, man. People that think we only read the Bible, we also read archaeology also.
That's right.
And we can show the Bible alongside archaeology, how everything lines up if you understand how to break things down. But with that, we open the times. Salaki Aban, you can call it. We open the times.
Men of Israel, I'm Madiam. Give one courteous salute to the teacher. I'm Madiam Shabbat. I'm Madiam Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Yadi Matah Saul. Men of Israel, I'm Madiam Shabbat. I'm Madiam Barak. Yahweh Shem Yadi Matah. Dismiss.
All right, Shalom Israel. We here tomorrow. Scripture breakdown. Shalom Israel. Hey, shalom, all the brothers and sisters.